Hello, my friend, and welcome to Wisdom Trek. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 5-day-per-week wisdom and legacy building podcast. This is day 833 of our trek, and time for our Philosophy Friday series. Each Friday, we will ponder some of the basic truths and mysteries of life and how they can impact us in creating our living legacy. As we continue on this trek called life, sometimes we have questions about life. So our Friday trek is a time where we can Ask Gramps. Gramps will answer the questions that you would like to ask your dad or granddad, but for whatever reason, this is not possible. No matter how old we are, I know that all of us would like the opportunity to go back and ask Dad or Gramps questions about life in many areas. We will address areas such as finances, relationships, health and fitness, business and work, home repairs and renovations, seasons of life, spiritual and biblical questions, and any other areas that come our way. As your fellow sojourner and mentor on this trek that we call life, it is Gramps' goal to provide you with practical wisdom and advice about any area of life. It is crucial that I receive a constant flow of questions, so please submit your questions to Guthrie at wisdom-trek.com, and Gramps will answer your questions on our Friday podcast. We are broadcasting from our studios at the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. As we transition from winter to spring, we see once again that the dead of winter springs into new life. We enjoy the birds singing and the flowers poking their heads through the soil like magic, displaying their beauty to all. When we take time to reflect upon the natural environment, we begin to observe a complex yet very beautiful world cycling through its patterns, phases, and through the stages of transition. We also quickly realize that nothing ever stands still, that nothing ever maintains its current state, identity, or shape for very long. In fact, all of nature cycles through the seasons of change and transformation, do so without effort and naturally. So our question today is, hey Gramps, it seems like life is rushing by so quickly that I'm having difficulty just enjoying life where I am today. How can I change my perspective so that I enjoy every season of life, and to make an impact where I can, and to accept the things that I cannot change? So in other words, let's look at enjoying the seasons of life. First, we must understand that there are cycles of life. Life cycles through phases of transformation and change that are unavoidable, inevitable, but yet very manageable. These natural cycles of life are very beneficial to our personal, emotional, and spiritual growth. We have to realize that seasons change constantly. The seasons of life are constantly changing as a result of the choices and decisions that we make on a daily basis. A seemingly insignificant choice today could very well change the tide of our seasons as we move into our tomorrows. For things not to change, we must stay the same. However, we can never remain unchanged because we are constantly making new choices and decisions about our conditions and circumstances. Life is all about change. We are constantly changing, and our circumstances are simply a reflection of the choices that we make. We also need to realize that seasons transition naturally. The seasons of life transition naturally from one phase to another as a result of our thoughts, values, and beliefs we are constantly cultivating in our minds. We transition through each of these seasons naturally because they are simply a reflection of our human nature and even the smallest of choices that we make each day. Just like the seasons of the year, we have to realize that the seasons of life are temporary. In fact, the seasons of life are as temporary as the raindrops that are falling on your head, or the thunder that is raging outside, or the wind that is blowing up the storm. None of these events last forever. They are temporary in nature, just as the seasons of life are temporary. The joy you experience during certain seasons of life will not last forever. There will invariably be a moment when your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions will naturally move you into another phase of life, and sometimes these phases lead you to pain and anguish. However, this pain and anguish too is temporary, and as the saying goes, this too will eventually pass. The length of time it takes us to progress through each season is simply a reflection of our state of mind, a reflection of our ability to adapt to the conditions and circumstances that we find ourselves in. If we adapt successfully, we will move through the difficult and unpleasant phases quickly. On the other hand, if we are unable to adapt, then we will suffer the consequences of failing to capitalize on the opportunities that life inevitably throws our way. Another thought is that seasons are psychologically and spiritually beneficial to us. The seasons of life are there to teach us lessons about our Creator, ourselves, about others, and about life. They are there to help us to grow emotionally, physically, socially, and spiritually. They are there to harden our resolve, to brighten our spirit, to strengthen our emotional and spiritual resistance in the face of adversity and opportunity. When we succeed, we celebrate ourselves, but when we fail, then we tend to complain and blame others, but eventually we will begin to contemplate who we are, what we are, and how we would like to progress from this moment onwards. These periods of life shape our character and help to paint the canvas of our life and preparing us for those experiences we have yet to experience. Moreover, these times help us to grow and fulfill our God-given potential as bearers of His image. In fact, if we think about it, we create the seasons of our lives. We naturally create and transition between the seasons of life as a result of our responses in reaction to people, events, and circumstances. This essentially means that how we respond to the choices that we make will directly influence what we get back in the world around us, whether they are problems or opportunities. And if we're completely honest with ourselves, for most of us, we are not where we thought we would be at any stage of life, and that is okay. We need to learn to enjoy the journey, to relish each day. We need to transition through the various seasons of life and run in such a way as to win the eternal prize. Let us follow the exhortation of the Apostle Paul, as he wrote in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 23 through 25. I do everything to spread the good news and share its blessings. Don't you realize that in a race, everyone runs, but only one person gets the prize? So run to win. All athletes are disciplined in their training. They do it for a prize that will fade away, but we do it for an eternal prize. Well, I hope that helps you to understand how to transition through the various seasons of life and enjoy your journey. Next week, we will have a different answer to Ask Gramps. Gramps will answer your questions you may have about life and will provide you with practical wisdom about any areas of life. Please submit your questions to Guthrie at wisdom-trek.com, and Gramps will answer them on our Friday podcast with wisdom and philosophy that Gramps has gained over the many years of experience and study. I know that you'll find these insights interesting, practical, and profitable in living a rich and satisfying life. Our next track will be Meditation Monday, where we will help you to reflect on what is most important in life. So encourage your friends and family to join us and to come along with us on Monday for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. If you'd like to listen to any of the past 832 daily treks or read the associated journals, they are all available at wisdom-trek.com. And I encourage you to subscribe to Apple Podcasts or Google Play so that each day's trek will be downloaded to you automatically. And thank you for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and then leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you on Monday.